servers and stuff that inhibited a lot of people from getting on. And during the stealth meeting, but crazy and expected, were able to be on. So there was barely any. I don't know if it that was the reason, but yeah. So it's been pretty consistent.
Okay. Well, if you're at home and you're tuning in with us, please remember that TCK does a custom game night every first and third Friday. So please, I don't know if you're going to be doing anything over the next couple of days, but if you're not doing anything on Fridays, we're always here for you, and we'd love to have you tune in. Please. All right.
Yeah, and Watcher House is average. Watchers and Guardians averagely for um, Guardians is like 2 to 3, just because of the fact that with the time zones, it's harder for people. And Watchers is between 4 to 5.
Okay, cool. And these are things that we're going to keep working on as far as Black Shield is concerned. I know you guys heard your presidential staff adamantly approaching you guys about times. Well, in order for us to truly be an efficient community to the world standards, we must use something called a clock. So, in which case, we must be able to tell the world when TCK does their events. If we cannot publicize our events, then we're not a community according to the world standards. All of our actions must be able to be placed on a record. Okay, so with that being said, members, there's a few updates I have, but we would much rather go over them on the general table. But Symphonic actually tuned back in again right quick. Let's see here. Would you branch out to other games for your custom game night? If so, what games would you branch out to? Symphonic, that is a great question, my friend. I want to thank you again for tuning in. TCK actually has a list of approved games that we do play regularly. Now, if for some odd reason your in particular game is not on this list, simply talk to your immediate commander about becoming a TCK sponsor to that game. And if we can get a few other members to actually go play that game with you, then we will actually create you the required resources to promote and publicize TCK's affiliation with that game title. In which case, we'll be more than happy to have a custom game night on your game too, my friend. Thank you again for tuning in. Okay. So, as I was saying, on the member table there is some updates, but we'll go over all those on the general table. Is there anything else here that anyone would like to add to the member table before we move up? Member table going once. Member table going twice. Alright, time to move on up to today's commander table. The good stuff. Yeah. Alright. Well, commanders, truth be told, your guys' section is really slim again today because we just spent the entirety of Green Shield focusing on you. Now, we do want you guys to be made aware that all of the changes, I know you hear me saying this may have become, it might as well be my motto for 2016. But my goal is to make your life easier and the member life easier as well. That's my job. That's what I'm pushing for. So we do know that with a lot of these updates, it is pushing you guys into unfamiliar territories, in which case we're getting rid of some of the resources that you guys are used to having to get your paperwork done. But at the end of the day, if we're not simplifying any of the steps, well, if we're not taking away any of the steps, then we're just adding to those steps. And if we're just adding to those steps, then I'm not simplifying your jobs like I'm trying to do. So I just really want you guys to understand that we are aggressively, how do I put this? We are aggressively yet indirectly taking the time to sit back and evaluate all your positions, what is causing your stress levels, what is causing your concerns, what is causing your productivity issues, and just everything. I mean, we're looking at the commander of TCK as a whole. And we're trying to figure out exactly which parts of the commander can we isolate? Can we actually separate or segregate, if you will, so where that so many burdens are not placed directly upon your shoulders, but more or less what you signed up for should be placed on your shoulders. And this is just something that we're pitching around the office right now, so don't go getting your panties all in a bunch or anything like that. Don't go saying that this is going to be taking place next month, because it's not. This is just something we're kicking around the office, literally. But we're proposing the idea of bringing back one solid green shield commander. Now, what this individual will do is take full responsibility for the green shield experience. Very simple. It won't be having to communicate with too many different commanders across the wing. If the green shielder misses something, they have one person that they need to be in touch with. That one person will direct them accordingly through the steps. Now, through us freeing up this re- this requirement, if you will, upon the commanders of TCK, this will enable the commanders to focus on what you're supposed to be focusing on. So if you're a watcher, you shouldn't be watching for potential new green shields every freaking game. You should be watching the enemy's head and trying to put a fucking bullet into it. And you should be getting really good at that. If you're stealth, you shouldn't be trying to sneak as many members into your house as possible. But you should be trying to sneak as many flags out of the enemy base as possible, and as quickly as possible, without being noticed. And what I'm trying to get at is, how can I ask you to focus on what you're supposed to be focusing on as a house member if I'm asking you to focus on recruiting every damn week? Every week there's a step that you're required to do for TCK. Yes, we have made it simpler, so where now every commander only has 1 week to participate in the green shield process. But would it not be cooler if, instead of asking all the bronze, all the silver, and all the golds to chip in on 1 week to do their job, if we just simply said, infantry, what you guys doing on Wednesday next week? Would you guys mind spending some time with green shields so they can have a quick infantry class and kind of see what your house is about? Maybe send out a couple of friend requests. Stealth, what are you guys doing on Tuesday next week? We're going to ask you guys to do the same thing. Can you spend some time with the green shielders and, maybe give them a couple of friend requests, prospect them a little bit, see which ones you may like, which ones you may want to make friends with? So what we're trying to get at is, we will be able to introduce your house to the green shielders. We will be able to have you interact with them, but not take responsibility for their
Stealth
recruitment
comes and finds you.
process. Exactly. Well, anyway, motherfuckers, you know what I'm trying to get at, man. Um, Long story short, you guys, we really want to make your job easier, and by adding a green shield commander to the program, we believe we can take a lot of the stress off of your shoulders as far as recruiting, and enable you to get back to what made TCK great in the first place, which is being able to focus on having fun in gameplay. I mean, after a couple of months of this, who knows? We may be able to get back to a place where everyone just knows what the other wing is doing without having to say anything, because we've had that much time to get back to where we need to be focusing on as far as members are concerned. Now, if you're tuning in at home, what do you think about that? Is that a good idea? Everyone here, what do you guys think? I mean, as I said, we're just kicking this around the office. Nothing too serious right now. We're not making no laws. We're not
Hey guys,
passing
if
no
I may
bills.
say,
Who's flying cyan?
Alright, yo, Flying Cyan.
Flying
We're getting a
Cyan,
bit busy
hi.
at the
How you
moment,
doing
bro.
there? It's okay. It's okay. Flying Cyan, it's nice to meet you, buddy. We're actually in the middle of a television broadcast. Would you like to sit down and join us? We're in the middle of a television broadcast. Would you like to sit down and join us? For everyone at home, Flying Scion is the guy
More streaming on
in the
Twitch.
chat right now. Okay, so what I'm gonna Awesome. Okay, if you're at home, we do apologize about that. These are some of the adjustments that we're going to have to work around in order to bring you guys a higher quality show. So we'll do the best we can to work around these. We do apologize. Okay, so let's try to get back on topic before he was interrupted, you guys. What was he talking about?
Just got done
Green Shield
going
Commander.
over
Anyone?
about the whole Green Shield Commander.
If I may speak, guys,
Oh
I
yeah,
gotta.
you guys are. I'm asking questions
I
right now.
missed that.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Just from my take on the experience of going through the Green Shield, this is Meow speaking, by the way.
Symphonic, please check the
I like
website
that
for that
idea
information.
about.
It's under Spartan Companies on Halo 5.
I
Oh
like the
yes, sir.
idea of introducing different houses into things like that because I specifically was introduced to all of them at once. Given it wasn't overwhelming, but doing the whole like introducing to like several houses, like with green shows as they're coming through with the recruitments and the training and all that stuff. I think that'll give them a little more insight and see as like who has a better potential for which house, and it'll give more insight towards the houses to see their development on what they can produce. Like either they're strictly, they say they're infantry. Okay, well, are you infantry, or will you better progress more in the other house?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, true.
Say it right now. Say it right now.
Spiteful B-Box, I want to give a very special shout out to you for tuning in to the family meeting this week. Thank you once again for your time. We greatly appreciate your participation. Okay. Um, to get back on
And
topic, I'm
also to
with you on
touch
that.
base, with sorry, Ray.
Oh, you good? Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Just to touch base on what Silky said. A lot of people will argue, we'll say that, with what Silky just said. They'll argue with what Silky just said about making sure that they have to earn it. And some people will actually be like, well, why do I have to earn it because I'm already good enough, blah 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 blah. If so, then you obviously know that they aren't as good as what they say they are, because if they would, it would be no sweat off their back to earn something as simple as they think that they're good at. So, with dealing with something like that, it's best to just say, okay, well then you don't deserve it then, and then just end the discussion there. Yeah. So
And
Or
I
just
would
know a
it
lot
be
of people have
best
came
just
to me
like send
about
them
that
for
with
watcher
concerns on
tryout
like what to
instead?
do, and like yeah, just drop them.
Yeah,
If
would it
they're
be
gonna be
better to just
rude,
send them to
prude, and
watcher
like
tryout anyway?
all right. And just remember, everyone, the exposure to the other houses is not changing the curriculum course of TCK. Very simple. Your ass is going left wing or right wing, bottom house, bottom bitch. You prove your worth if you want to rank up. Now, if for some odd reason we do make any changes to the Green Shield program, one change that I was proposing, and this is not even anything at all to take serious, just kicking around the office again, is around week 3, after the person has passed their tryout, I was going to give them a one time say so. So you get to pick left or right. But only way that could become possible is if every commander in TCK is no longer responsible for recruiting. If we have one solid green shield recruiter, then that one commander can decide to send people to the left wing or to the right wing.